Wedding planning can be really stressful for a lot of people. It's a huge event, momentous part of someone's life, and it takes a lot to plan it. But imagine for a minute somebody who was thinking through a wedding and said, okay, I want to have a party. I want to have all of my closest friends and relatives there. So what I need to do is to find a venue, and then I need to find a potential spouse, and then ask that person to marry me. That's not the way it works. Instead, what happens is someone says, this is someone I want to be married to, and then you work backward from there. When you think about the way Revelation 21 uses this imagery of wedding, the New Jerusalem coming down out of heaven as a bride adorned for her husband, it's a very similar thought process. Revelation 21 is at the end of the Bible, next to the last chapter that we have in our canon, and it explains backward everything else. It explains what we're moving toward and what the goal is. So if you think about why Jesus is giving this revelation to John, it's to give to churches that are going through suffering, churches that are right at the precipice of potentially losing their heads, literally, in a Roman Empire that is armed to the teeth against them, people who are losing their social relationships, losing their jobs in many cases. And Revelation 21 is showing you not only is there an invisible reality that the rest of Revelation is showing in the heavenly places, but one day that invisible reality of what's happening in heaven is joined with the earth, and all of creation is transformed by that. And so what that means is, when you think about the beauty and the glory that's coming through, both in terms of just the description of the New Jerusalem, but also in terms of personally, every tear wiped away. The times of grieving not just are over, but they're over in a way that shows the purpose. They have purpose and they have meaning. The end transforms the journey in terms of the way that we see it. And also there's this sense of home. The Christian life is one of pilgrimage, the Bible tells us, of being strangers and exiles in this age and in this era. Revelation 21 gives you a preview of what it is to actually be at home in the cosmos, at home within ourselves. An experience that we only see flashes of right now, but we don't fully experience. And why? Because in the New Jerusalem, the overriding theme of Revelation 21 is the presence of Jesus himself. Write this down. Jesus says, I am the Alpha and the Omega. You have that union of Christ and his church taking place fully in a consummated way at the end. And what that is to tell us is that actually is the point, is Jesus himself. Jesus is not a hoop that we're jumping through in order to get all of these benefits of heaven. Instead, Revelation 21 is showing you the glories of the heavenly reality of the new heavens and the new earth in a way that's pointing us back toward Christ. No need for a temple, because Jesus is the temple. No need for a sun, because Jesus is the light. The forces of chaos and of disorder represented by the sea, gone. Why? Because in Revelation 21, we see a picture of what the Apostle Paul talks about in Ephesians chapter 1, of everything being summed up in Christ. So if we see that picture of Revelation 21, of that final goal that we're walking toward, that can help us to worship in the now. It also can help us to endure, to persevere. I remember one time I was thinking about some difficult situations in my life from years ago, and I said, those things don't seem very painful to me right now because I can see the end result. I can kind of look back from a place of safety. Well, that's exactly what all of our lives, for those of us who are in Christ, ultimately look like. Heaven and earth joined together in Jesus. That's good news.